This is Duke University.
The first piece of advice underscores everything, which is find your passion. A quote that I like and that I've shared with some people here is that you should try to find your passion and chase it like it's the last bus of the night. And I like that image because it really does underscore how much you have to work to get to that passion and to catch it, and that you have to want it. So to the extent that that should underscore your job search, I would hope that it does. I would also say that people that are successful and happy in their careers think outside the box. There are more than 4 careers out there. Consulting, investment banking, law, and medicine are not the only careers that are out there. They may seem like the only careers that come to Duke sometimes, and that may feel a little constricting, but that goes back to the passion and chasing it and wanting it. You have to put the onus on you to go after some things that are outside the box. Because at the end of the day, on average, you're going to have 11 different jobs. This next job is only one of those 11. So don't put too much pressure on this one job being the most important thing, and that if you don't get the job with the company that everybody knows and thinks is the coolest, that's going to be the end of your career. It's not. In point of fact, you could actually have an awesome job that teaches you amazing things, that connects you to people you never know in a company that no one's ever heard of. So keep that in mind as you're going through the process and think outside the box. I would say there are 2 considerations to think about when you're thinking about being out in your job search. One is from the corporate perspective, and one is from the personal perspective for you. From the corporate perspective, being out in your job search allows you to ask questions of the corporations that you're trying to interview with and find out if it's actually a welcoming environment. There are lots of tools that you can look at, like the HRC Corporate Equality Index, the Stonewall Index outside the United States, and there are a number of others that can provide some data around this. But remember that just because a company scores 100% on that index does not mean that it's a gay-friendly company. That's just one measure. So you really need to talk to people in the companies and the corporations to really see if their policies and procedures are actually translating into action in the company. From a personal perspective, you have to decide if it's something that's important to you, and more importantly, relevant to the job search. So when I say relevant, I mean, are you telling them that you're gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender because you've done something leadership worthy or focused, or that it's actually impacted your student life, or you think that it's going to positively impact their corporate culture or bring something to them that they wouldn't otherwise get? If that's the case, then you should absolutely be out. But if you're just telling them about your sexual orientation or your gender identity because you feel like you need to share that with them, I would wait. I would not do that during your interview process, and I would not do that on your resume. Make sure that there's a germane reason for you to actually do that, and then go from there. So if you're thinking about going into banking, first of all, figure out what area of banking you want to go into. Do you want to go into investment banking, which is more corporate finance, helping companies buy or sell other companies, raise debt, raise equity, buy or trade securities, stocks, debt, etc.? Or do you want to go into the wealth management side, which is helping individuals, institutions, nonprofits manage their money, their endowments in the stock market, and do the financial planning side of things for individuals? They're both exciting and interesting and valid. Personally, I've worked on both sides of the Wall Street banks, and I actually like both sides for different reasons. If you're interested in either side, learn why you're actually interested in it. I've heard a number of students over the years say that they want to go into investment banking because it gives them a big picture, a springboard for something else, and a skill set that they can leverage later in life. That's not a passion. That's just an outcome from a job that you sort of think you want. Figure out what it is about investment banking that you really are excited about. Is it helping companies find acquisition targets and actually figure out what that strategy match is? Is it actually creating quantitative strategies that drive alpha for a portfolio? Is that exciting? What is it that's actually exciting about investment banking? And then translate that into how you actually get into investment banking and how you actually talk about what you want to do in investment banking. In private banking, it's the same thing. What is it about the stock market that interests you? Do you actually follow stocks when you're not in an interview process? What types of things would you recommend if you were put on the spot and given $1 million? How would you invest it? How would you tell someone who has a huge estate problem because their marriage is not recognized at a federal level how to actually build something that protects their assets for their children? Think through things like that, and if that gets you excited, that's more the private banking side. Either way, it can be an incredibly rewarding career. I personally have really enjoyed it and love Wall Street, but you have to go into it for the right reasons, not because that's an expectation.
Produced by Duke University, online at duke.edu.